Hey guys, Romie here. So please like, comment, subscribe. This is, of course, Married to Medicine, Season 4, Episode 11. Coconut Bras and Brawl. Now, the episode starts off with, as we know, Dr. Heavenly's husband has to go because he needs to work. And I'm thinking, okay, so you're cool because it's your guy going and he has to work. But Darren working, well, I understand with the whole stigma with Darren, but Darren working and not being able to get off and da-da-da. Look, we get it. The reasoning is flawed, so that's why we're side-eyeing it. But let's leave Lisa Nicole alone at this point. It is what it is at this point. But Darren does show up. He does show up, but his arm is hurt, sprained. I'm thinking, okay, so even when you go back to work, you can't even go back to work like that, can you? Unless you're doing some general stuff, because you need both hands. You can't just go. That's why, because he's an ER doctor, so he definitely needs to be able to use both of his hands. That's why I'm looking at this like, okay, so he hurt himself. How did he hurt himself? He was like, or Lisa said, oh, you don't even know how you hurt yourself. I'm thinking, yes, do this for the camera. Do this for the camera, because we're all side-eyeing this like, come on now. Come on now. So he misses his flight. He doesn't take off from work when he was supposed to, or make sure that it got approved in time, or at least wasn't able to do so. Now he comes in, his arms. But anyway, we have this nice little sit down, and they're just going around kind of talking about what they want to do. And one of the things that they want to do is a vow renewal. And Mariah, off the top of the head, says, nope, can't do that. Why? Because her and her husband, Aiden, they actually went through the issue of Aiden's parents, Aiden's family, they're used to arranged marriages. He has 5 siblings. They've all had arranged marriages. Him coming home with him coming home with a black girl, which I guess hypothetically, let's say that even if they were okay with that and not more so like, no, you have to come home with an Indian woman, traditionally and all that stuff. She also is coming with a baby? A baby that's not his? Oh! It's like, oh, so you just went over to America and did whatever you wanted, and now you want to bring that back over here. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And the thing with this whole conversation is, it was very nice. It was so, I thought it was cool, but then Dr. Heavenly, she said, this is going a little too PG-13 for me. Here's how this is going to go. From now on. Yeah, so Quad was talking to the group about why Mariah, she thought everything was cool, and then Mariah decided she didn't want to go and participate in the little huddle to discuss Jackie's pictures. So Dr. Heavenly said, there's a big elephant in the room. It's you two's relationship. You two need to fix it. You need to fix it fast, quick, and in a hurry. Oh yeah, please like, comment, subscribe if I didn't already say that. Why? Because one simple fact is that we can't all pretend to be lovey-dovey and cool and all when you two are breaking the funk. So then the narrative starts off with who's at blame, who's not at blame. Mariah says she's done everything she possibly could to make sure that, both sides are being represented. That she apologized to Quad, and that Quad accepted it. That was at least 2 years ago at the reunion. The issue now is that we know that there's still bad blood. There's just a temporary ceasefire because they're doing this for Simone and Cecil. But aside from that, they don't really like each other. Quad's just saying how, I don't understand why you expect me to accept the apology or just be okay with everything when, you call me a fraud, you say I'm fraudulent, I call you the same thing. Mariah's side's, you know what, Quad? Quad the fraud. Quad the fraud, because that's what you are. Quad the fraud. Quad said, okay, Mariah the liar. Two can play that game. I mean, and this is the episode where we also find out, well, what Mariah's been keeping secret about Quad. I'm thinking, this isn't a secret. We already knew most of this stuff. But I'll get to that a little bit later. They decide, let bygones be bygones. And when I say let bygones be bygones, it means we're going to continue to be grown women, but act like children when it comes to a relationship gone sour. We're going to go and put-pooey the entire thing. And it didn't irk me because I do agree with them when they say, look, the best course of action is for you guys to stop bringing this up. Every time you bring this up, it makes matters worse. It makes matters worse because clearly we're not going to work through what we need to work through. Sidebarring onto the men. The men are at the beach. I'm like, thank God that they can just go and hang out with each other and not be aware and be involved with all stuff that's going on with their wives. So they go surfing, or they at least attempt to try to go surfing. All except for Darren, because as we know, Darren's arm is all messed up, his left arm. And once they're done with that, of course they wiped out, failed multiple times. It was very entertaining. What happened next was even more so. Darren wanted to let me know, Lisa, she was calling me upset about what's going on here and that you guys were kind of rough with her. Well, or that, she was having a rough time. That's more so what he said. Here comes Eugene. Yeah, Eugene's just like, look, we weren't. She's cool. There's no issues. There's no problem. There's just certain things that need to be said and certain things that need to be hashed out. I'm thinking, you know what? It's true. Certain things did need to be said and certain things did need to be hashed out between Toya and Lisa Nicole. But it should have just been Toya and Lisa Nicole. Like, we don't need you going and stepping in for your wife. I'm not talking about Darren. I'm talking about when Eugene was like, well, Toya misunderstood, or when he was also kind of having her back in general. We respect it, but we just need that moment between Toya and Lisa Nicole to be Toya and Lisa Nicole. So I'm glad the guys just kind of just said their piece and kept it moving, because I know it's their wives, but it really shouldn't be their problem. That's why you're even talking about the men on these shows, because a lot of times they just get roped into stuff. And then our perceptions of them get skewed. Now, they're all looking at him like, so how did you break your arm? What happened? You were late. What's going on? What's good? And he was like, oh, well, I just fell when they're all looking at him like, so who'd you fall in? Because it wasn't your wife. She was here with us. Come and get this drink. Whatever. It's clever. Quad goes and she sets up. She has the photographer there. She has all the ladies there. Actually, Dr. Simone's distracting Dr. Jackie while they set up everything. All ladies are getting in their Hawaiian garb / barely clothed for the purpose of the photo shoot, which was to empower survivors of breast cancer. And originally, Jackie had to kick them out because they're acting a plumb fool. Now they get the second chance to do that over. And I must say, shout out to Quad, because I really appreciate the fact that Quad set this up and did this on the behalf of really the group and for Jackie, because I thought that was really thoughtful. That was really thoughtful. And even the whole, what was it like? It was basically like a saying no, we won't go type of thing, but for breast cancer. So I thought that was really nice. And old ladies, they're doing their photo shoots. Why Dr. Heavenly have to go and say, oh Lord, Toya thinks that she has Quad's body, but she don't. Thinking, Dr. Heavenly, don't do that. Don't do that. Come, Dr. Heavenly, don't do that. Remember, we're on a Zoom, we're on a Zoom, or pretending to be on a Zoom. So just be on your Zoom. Anyway, everyone goes and does it. Mariah does something as well. I'm thinking that Mariah, kept her clothing on mainly because I would think culturally, because of her husband's religious and cultural beliefs, that probably being fully exposed would be inappropriate. Like, people think, oh, because she wears stuff and she shows her cleavage at times, that means that it's the same thing as taking, everything off up here. And it's not. There's a big difference. So I get it, and I'm glad, no one made a big deal about that, because they probably, figured it out as well. But like I said, it was well done. Jackie really appreciated it. It showed solidarity. They were all, trying to pretend to do kumbaya in the name of Dr. Jackie, because they're like, they love her, they can do this for her, and they're grown women, so they should be able to do this anyway. Oh God, I just wish they had more moments like that. I just wish they had more moments like that. And they did. This episode really delivered because it continued off with um, like I said, there's going to be vow renewal. And Dr. Heavenly actually set up that portion of, being the moderator and getting everything together. And I like the fact that they started off, so you walk and all the ladies were in white. The grass was very nice and green, full. They come to it and you see, not a chapel, but you see, of course, normally where people go and get married. Dang, the name's escaping me! But they're there and they have their wedding portraits. And it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Some of them got married a little bit later in life, so they don't look that different. But for like Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, even though of course they look like themselves, it's like, oh my gosh. Oh, look at them. Oh, look at them. Look at them. Look at their husbands. They all were carrying their wedding portraits to the stands where the pictures are being held. And then the men came, and the men were shocked because they had no idea. And one by one, well, of course, it started off with Cecil and Dr. Simone. And Cecil got Dr. Simone a surprise. He got her a new wedding band. A diamond-studded wedding band. All around. She was like, all around. Yes. When we spend our money, we spend it well. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. It just goes perfect with the rock eye right here. Ooh. Ooh. Blinded. Ooh. Anyway. So shout out to them. They said their vows. And it was really nice. Dr. Heavenly was actually... It was interesting because everyone was looking at... Wait, why is Dr. Heavenly up there? Well, she's the moderator. She's going to go and do the vow renewal for everyone. It's like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, she's going to go and do the vow renewal for everyone. Oh, that's nice. Well, then what about when... Oh, what was I say? So... Exactly. That's what you think. And then you realize, oh wait, this is going very well. She's going and she's just repeating what, is laid down for her. Because everyone goes and kind of talks about how, oh, I love you, thank you for... Toya's was, thank you for being there for me and supporting me and giving me more than I could ever want. Her husband said, thank you for allowing me to support you and love on you. And I'm assuming that Toya was probably the type of, I don't need no man to do this to me. I don't need no man. I can see her being that. So that makes sense for them. I wish Dr. Jackie's husband was there, just in general, and Dr. Jackie felt the same way. And it was interesting because at one point, Lisa Nicole and Darren were up there, and the ceremony switched over because it had people, like I said, up there. And aside from them kind of saying what they love about each other, it also talked about how Dr. Simone felt about the rest of them. So Dr. Simone had Dr. Jackie up there with her and saying, and Dr. Heavenly was, delivering the lines of how Cecil is essentially, not Cecil, but Curtis is a good man, and you two can work it out because he stood by you and he was right there with you when you found out that you had breast cancer, and you two, I see a future for you two, so stay in the fight, don't give up, there is hope. So I was like, okay, that's nice. For Darren and Lisa Nicole, it was, I'm sorry that this group can be mean and hurtful and harmful. I'm really sorry about that, so we apologize. And Lisa Nicole appreciated that. Darren went and hugged everyone except for his wife. I'm like, was that production? Did he really just go and... Lisa Nicole looked like she wanted to hug. She wanted to kiss. Here goes Darren. It's like, oh, yeah, thanks, man. Oh, yeah, thank you. Oh, but your wife was just right in front. Oh, priorities. We all caught that. It was like priorities. It was like, Quad, thank you for being such a strong, good friend. And then Quad thanked her husband for being very patient and she promised that they would have a baby. I'm looking at that like, is that really gonna happen as soon as he's thinking that she said it's gonna be? We don't know. But what we do know is the ceremony lasted until the night, and then of course it transitioned over. I really liked the ceremony. For Janice, they just said how thank you for showing a strong family unit, and it coming from Dr. Heavenly meant a lot, because it's like, remember, just all the little things that Dr. Heavenly used to do and nitpick. So I'm sure she worked together with Simone on some of the stuff, and it was really appreciated. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to see this, if nothing else for the show, then at least seeing this was big. It was big. It was important. It was, my favorite part of the episode. My absolute favorite part of the episode. Things go and they switch over, and Lisa Nicole has a conversation with Dr. Heavenly, and she lets it be known, I apologize because I know that you're not an alcoholic. I know it, but you hurt me, and so I wanted to hurt you back. I'm thinking, Lisa Nicole, I really respect the fact that you're doing that, especially since you didn't have to. But let's be very clear. Dr. Heavenly went and said what she said about you, and so did Toya, just because they could. That's how they like to get down sometimes. You did it in retaliation. We could tell that you don't normally go at people like that. And so, it's all good to us. No one was cursing you out. No one was doing this or that. So, we respect the fact that you at least stood up for yourself. Regardless of however you did it, at least you stood up for yourself. So, Dr. Heavenly, she accepted the apology and she apologized herself. So I said, I don't care if this is 100% real or not. The fact that they're at least making the effort to do this is all that matters. All that matters. Dr. Heavenly, so shout out to both of them. Again, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie just wanted to talk, and Dr. Jackie's just like, you know what, I know I have some work to be done. I know things aren't perfect right now. I knew that I probably shouldn't have left. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Dr. Jackie should have just left? Because that was one of the issues. She decided to go and leave without settling things with her husband. But anywho, Mariah and Toy's officially moving out, so we'll see. She's probably moving back into her old place. Either her old place or they found that new place that they saw that they shouldn't have been at in the first place. And her husband was like, what are we doing? We two black people looking around this nice house in this nice bougie neighborhood. What are we doing? Without an invitation. Let's stop. Let's go. Excuse me. Mariah and Lisa Nicole, they go to a spa. And during that spa, they have a conversation. Well, the conversation kind of started with Toya and her lack of a good spa day. Spa trip, outing event, hosting. And then it switched over. It switched over to the let's go and talk about Quad. And my thing is, the timing of it didn't make sense to me, because even though Quad's irritating you, or she just irritated you, why release the stuff now? See, that's the thing. People don't seem to understand, people don't seem to understand my stance on timing. Not on what you're saying and why you're saying it. I get it. I get why you're saying it, just because it's you and she says certain things about you and to you, but the whole timing is always an issue. Mariah talks about how Quad, was dating a drug dealer, which we already knew is her cousin. That Quad hang around. She got into the pharmaceutical rep game, and Lisa Nicole was like, yeah, I also have a family member that went to college, and said that Quad definitely came from humble beginnings. And I'm thinking, okay, this is all well and good, that Quad didn't have an address. He used her, what was it, her driver's license as an address, or her license plate as an address. Either way, oh my gosh, to insinuate, her car, that she was living out of her car. After the whole thing went down with Mariah's cousin getting in trouble, she took her in. They became the best of friends. They fed her, clothed her. And the thing is, I respect Mariah for helping out Quad and, giving her a fresh start. But why are you going and letting us know? Like, I get it, the whole point is Quad did me dirty, and after all the stuff that I did for her, I don't understand why she would go and say all this to me. But my thing is, this is wrong and this is hurtful. This is really wrong. This is really hurtful because I do believe all of it. I believe all of it. Doesn't mean that Quad had absolutely nowhere else to go. No, I don't think that was the case. But I think Quad trying to make it for her own, she fell in hard times. And see, that's the thing. I just don't like when people air out other people's dirty secrets, especially to this detail, because it's just like, it's like, we get it. You feel like she stabbed you in the back even though you did so much for her. It's not right, but that's how life goes sometimes. And their way of reacting to it by going and putting all of her business out there because you're partially intertwined in it, I can't pretend to be like, oh, yeah, that's what she gets. I don't do that. No, like, yeah, saying some stuff here and there would be petty or insinuating. No, that's alright. That's alright. As long as it's somewhat based in truth, that's alright. But the full-on... So then we get to Dr. Jackie. We get to Dr. Jackie, and Dr. Jackie is talking with her husband, and her husband, is trying to be very calm. She's also trying to be very calm. I'm looking at this entire situation like, these two people need to have this conversation off the camera. Because I'm not even going to repeat it. There's no point. The conversation, fine, I have to, started like this. Oh, hi, how are you? Dr. Jackie was on their computer. She just stepped in on their computer, did what she normally does. So again, we're getting a true depiction of what actually happens when she gets home. Curtis wants to talk, so then they talk. Curtis wants... You see where I'm going with this? Curtis this, Curtis that, Curtis that. I don't think that Curtis is necessarily just controlling. I think more so Curtis feels like he has to go and kind of be like, ugh! Like, hello! Hello! Because if he's not, then Dr. Jackie will just go and do her own thing and be in her own head. And we get it. She doesn't understand why he keeps saying, oh, well, you need to make more time. You're too busy, too this and that. She's like, I'm driven. But then in her confessional, she acknowledges the fact that she is feeling that void of not having the love, affection, or just having a child in general. And she's using work to do it. But my whole thing is, you really don't want to say it to your husband because of the stuff that you were going through with the whole children thing. But you're married. You have to! You have to, because if this is the make or break for your marriage, then you need to. And Curtis, I get that you want more time, you want compromise, but I'm sorry, the way how this is coming off, it doesn't feel like a compromise. It kind of feels like, okay, Dr. Jackie wants this or feels this way. You don't feel that way, so then you decide, no, done. No, this is deal. Again, this is on camera. She could be doing the same thing to Curtis and we just don't know it. But on camera, it just looks like she's like, all right, I know I'm wrong, but how it's being portrayed is just like, yeah, you're wrong. That's it. That's it. Like, I understand that I have faults as well. I am mature, because this is what he said. He acknowledges, I have faults. I didn't want to go to the thing because I felt like we need to stay here and work out what happened. Very mature. Then it switched over to, yeah, but you never told me that, so that I was still going to the airport. Yeah, we weren't talking, but I was still going to support my friend. Do you think that going on that trip was good since we weren't in the right headspace? Our marriage should supersede everything, especially something like going on a trip for a friend. And I do get where he's coming from, but the trip was to try and empower couples, and it would have been great for you guys to be there. And even if you had to argue, just to get your points across, because if an argument big enough can break your marriage, then your marriage is done. That's just the truth of the matter. If an argument at this point in time can break up the marriage and you two both mutually file a divorce, the marriage is done. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Gosh, that was actually a deep video. I need some foolishness.